Building businesses to sell. Now, I've actually been selling businesses for a while. I basically started selling businesses back in the day because of Shopify, right? So everybody was trying to build drop shipping companies, and they would get these products from like Alibaba, and then they'd sell them here. And it was working pretty good for a while. But I would build all these websites for these drop shipping products, and then it would take like 60 days to get the products. And a bunch of people would get pissed off, and I would just be like, all right, well, this one doesn't work. And I would end up selling the website, right? So that's kind of how I started selling businesses. So I would sell these websites, and I would make more money selling these websites than I did selling any products drop shipping from China. So I would basically come up with a theme. What do? We had a yoga business, a Good Yogis. We had a dog pet shop basically that we sold. We had an electronics. We had just like a regular merch, and I've been doing e-commerce for a long time, but that's kind of how I started getting into the business of building businesses to sell them, right? I would come up with the idea, the logo, set up the emails, build the website, find the products, and then I would start promoting them all over social media and running ads and things like that. And then I would sell them once I made a profit for a lot of money. And then I basically really peaked when I built a business called the Pay Per Lead Agency. Okay, so that was my old business, but I would basically find leads for, like plumbers and roofing companies, and essentially like I would sell them to them at a premium. And I was doing it all black hat. I was making like these Google Maps. I would basically make like 20 Google Maps all over a city. So then anytime anybody Googled for like a roof repair guy in that area, they would call one of our phone numbers. That phone number would go to one of the customers, and then I would get paid. And it was a sick business. I sold that for, I think we ended up with like 68 grand or something like that. And then I, a bunch of taxes and a bunch of stuff. And then I paid a bunch of bills off and blah, 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 blah. Life happens. But that was my real big sell. And now I'm back at it again. And I have this idea basically where I'm going to build a sales company, so Tiger Sales, and we're going to basically be doing outbound, inbound sales, and we're just going to master sales, right? And then I'm going to be able to take the sales team and the sales business and the sales processes, and I'm going to be able to build other businesses to sell. Another company that I'm just launching right now is called Lab Finicare, and it's a medical company. We're basically going to be reaching out to laboratories and doctors and stuff like that, and we're going to be selling them revenue cycle management, remote CROs and CFOs, and like all this other stuff to help them and their businesses. And the whole plan is to get that to about $500,000 a month in reoccurring revenue, and then sell it for a 10x of $5 million or $10 million or dollars or whatever it is. But that whole idea made me make this, okay? And this is what I'm going to basically drop the knowledge for you. Obviously, we don't have time to go into every single detail of building a business, but this is just to get your mind thinking so that you can think a little bit bigger, so that you can really start to either look at the business that you have now and start to figure out how to maybe plan to sell, or you can start a business today and plan to sell. Because a lot of these businesses and a lot of the way that the world is going right now, you can build these businesses relatively quickly. Our goal is to sell within 3 years, for a 10x multiple on the medical business. And then these other businesses, though, you could get them up and running in a year and sell them for a hefty profit, and then go on to the next thing, right? But you still got to put your head down. You still got to do the work, and you still got to, for lack of better words, is eat shit for a while until your business is actually producing a profit and making things happen. Okay, so that is the spiel, the intro. Again, please like, subscribe. I'm dropping the wisdom all the time, and I just want everybody to, benefit and start to think a little bit bigger. All right. So build businesses to sell. These are my thinking. There's probably a billion ways to do it. It all depends on the way that your business is structured and set up as well. But the main things you definitely need are traffic, profitable, and authority. You got to have like when you think about these things, like the traffic, it could have been like, Walmart when he built all his businesses. His whole thing was he would go into these small little towns that didn't have any big grocers around, and he would basically be the biggest discount store in the area, right? So he would get traffic by having the greatest location. He made a lot of profit by selling mass amounts of property, and he built authority by building his businesses everywhere and then delivering the absolute best results possible for his customers, okay? So these are the things that we think of: traffic, ranking it in SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. Basically, if you're the first website on Google, you're going to get free traffic, and that's very appealing to sell your business. You know what I mean? Because it's scalable. Brand awareness. People, if they know your brand, and your business literally takes up a small portion of people's brain in this certain area, in this certain field. You got followers, you got raving fans as customers, you got great content, product placement, and then profitable. You need to have consistent growth. You want the bank account to be going up always. You want reoccurring revenue. That's going to be a big thing because, again, some people's business model this doesn't work for, but there's always an option to figure out a way to set up some sort of reoccurring revenue. And if you have reoccurring revenue, it's a lot easier for you to sell your business and then get a big check and just rinse your hands of that business because they know they have this consistent revenue flow coming in. An example of this is there's a flower company, right? So most flower companies, it's a terrible business model, right? They're open every day of the year, but they sell all their flowers only on Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, right? So these two brothers, they were in like New York or something, had some sort of flower connection. And they're like, how can we make this a better business, right? So they did all sorts of tests. They did all sorts of planning and putting out there. And they figured out that hotels need flowers, right? They need a live bouquet of about 200 roses in their, walk-in area in order for their business to look good and make it feel like a 5-star class hotel, right? So they switched their entire business model to sell roses to these hotels, and they would basically say, hey, look, we'll set you up on a reoccurring revenue, and we will make sure that you get a fresh bouquet of roses every 2 weeks for your business, all right? And then they figured out the lifetime value of each one of these hotels, and then they figured out, we can start hiring salesmen because this reoccurring revenue is going to keep going, and this is how they built their business. But there's always an opportunity for you to create some sort of reoccurring revenue, all right? And then the next thing is high ROI. Everybody wants to buy a business that makes a lot of money. That's kind of the name of the game with businesses. We're in this business to make a profit. And then when you're building your business, it's good to just think about, is this business going to be around in 10 years? Is it a dying business? Is it on the way out? And then also profitable is like having ads that scale or having any source of new customers relatively easily that costs less than what it costs to sell your products and stuff like that. All right. And then authority. You want testimonials. You want good reputation. Takes up space in the customer's mind, delivers results, and has market advantage. All right. Those are the business of building a business to sell. Okay. Now let's talk about why people buy these businesses. All right. Because it's important. Why would somebody pay you 10 times the revenue, 10x what it's making right now per month? Right? Why would they do that? Okay, well, there's a lot of different reasons. There's these big private equity capital people. They buy up all the businesses. They want, if there's a brand that's profiting already, or basically like one example is there's a private equity firm. They buy dentist offices, right? They just buy them all, and then they basically clone them and basically add them to their franchise, and they sell it, and they're making a lot of money. So the power for them is they will buy dentist offices, and then if they own like 2,000 different dentist offices, and then they need to buy light bulbs, they can buy the exact same light bulb at a very cheap discount and then put it to all their dentist companies, and they're always profiting. So that's like an example. Another example is like there was a couple brothers again, they created a inventory software for lots of technical products, right? So if you had a whole bunch of different products and you had to figure out how to sell them and how to price them and keep track of all of them, right? It's a very, very good business to build. They built this thing, and then basically they went to Home Depot and said, hey, look, we've built this amazing software. It tracks, multiple difficult products, and it keeps your inventories full. Are you interested? And basically Home Depot bought them. They bought the entire company. And the reason they bought them is because they had a strategic advantage, because it would take them years to build a business like that. They had lots of weird, difficult products to keep track of. And there was a company right there. So you basically solve a problem, right? But the main reason like these big investors and these big firms buy your business is because they're going to make a lot of money. They're going to take out a lot of debt to buy your business now and then hold on to it for the long run. and they're going to make a shitload of money going off into the future, but you're going to get a fat check right now. So there's a lot of reasons why these companies will buy your business. The biggest one is just consistent revenue, consistent growth, and also a market authority or having some sort of strategic advantage in the marketplace. Okay. Any company below 1 million a year, you can sell probably to the public, right? You can go on escrow.com. There's tons of them. There's tons of business things, and there's tons of ways that you can sell it. You can find people that are similar, that are doing really good, and they'll buy your business out. All right. If your business is making 1 to 100 million a year, the buyers are going to be these private equity groups, and they're basically going to make sure they're going to try and get you to sell and give them the majority of the business and do a 60-40 split. So that's something we're going to talk about later. Is they'll want to buy your business, but they'll want you to still work in your business. Okay, so you'll get a real big check, but for the next couple of years, you're still going to have to run the business, and it can be exhausting. And then if that business for some reason files bankruptcy, you're still attached to it, and you're screwed. So there are horror stories about selling your businesses, but we're basically going to teach you guys how to build a business to sell. But building to sell, you should really build to have a strategic advantage. This is where using your mind, building a business that has an advantage, that has a purpose, that solves a problem, really comes into play. And if you can do these things, though, if you can really visualize the end of your business already and like you selling it and the purpose of your business, that's going to really help you stay focused and put your nose to the grindstone and get it done, and then sell this business and retire and live that freedom. Okay. If you do build a business that has some sort of subscription relevancy or some sort of reoccurring revenue, you're going to be able to sell that business at 100%. All right. And that's really going to allow you the freedom to not have to work and get a big check and then go and live the rest of your life. So you can build these businesses relatively quickly. You could build a super subscription-based business in 5 years, sell it for 10x to some big company, and then never have to work again for the rest of your life. Like, it's real. People do it all the time, and that's why I want to share this with you. Okay, so understand your own psychographic. Like, this is for you, the entrepreneur building this business. Okay, there's 3 of these. There's the mountain climbers, there's freedom fighters, and then there's craft people. Right? Mountain climbers are like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs. People that are they're just in this to be. It's like an ego thing almost, but they're just looking at the challenge. They see the highest mountain, and they're going to get to the top of that mountain, and then they're going to see the highest mountain from there, and then they're going to get to the top of that mountain just to say that they did it, just to see what it's like up there. That's what a mountain climber is. You don't need to tell these people what to do. These people are already on a mission, and they're going for it all out, okay? And then there's the freedom fighters. The freedom fighters want independence. They just basically start a business because they don't want to work for anybody else. They started a business because they are building something for themselves, and this is going to be their baby, and they're going to build it all the way to the top. And then there are craft people, and craft people are all about mastery. Okay, this could be like a landscaper who just cares about making the work that they do look impeccable, and they're going to master that one skill for the rest of their lives. Or whatever it is, and that's how they build their business. Okay, so understand what kind of, there's many more, but understand what psychographic you are, so that if you're planning to build this business to sell, how is it going to play in part? Like, a lot of the freedom fighters, they're going to build this thing, they're going to build it for themselves, and then they're going to realize they have to run it for a long time, and they're going to lose their freedom, and they're going to want to sell and be 100% done. The mountain climbers, maybe they won't ever sell their business. They'll just build this massive business, and then they'll get a loan on it and take that money out and build more. The craft people, maybe they just want to keep perfecting their crafts. But there's reasons why people start businesses. It's good for you to understand yourself and understand why you, as an entrepreneur, are a business builder and what kind of psychographic you are. All right. And the other thing you need to know is a lot of buyers want to buy low and sell for more later. And you just basically need to they're going to take on a lot of debt. So there's going to be a real big payday for you, but they just have to see the value. And there's just more money out there than you would even believe for real profitable businesses. So start thinking about it. All right. Planning to build a business to sell. Will the industry be around in 10 years? Ask yourself that. Does the math make sense? Whenever you're starting a new business, you want to already have the math laid out and has to make sense. It's going to really help you. It's going to help your customer. And instead of just figuring it out as you go, it's good just to sit down and do the math, even if you don't like the math. Is this the best opportunity for your time? There's a lot of, there's you only live one life. Is building this business really going to get you where you want to go? Is this really going to sell? Is this really what you want to do for the next, 5-10 years of your life? And is it going to have a big payoff? So you want to make sure that you ask yourselves these questions. Is the roadmap clear? Is it clear? Does it make sense in your mind that this is how you're going to go? I can do this. This is the way to be. Can it scale? That's another question. A lot of people start businesses because it's their passion or whatever, and then they realize that it can't scale. I've done that multiple times. I've built a lot of businesses that just can't scale. Sure, they make good cash flow, but I'll never be able to sell them. So it's just important to really see, does it scale? All right, can I get people to believe in the dream or vision of the company? This is important because when you start hiring people or you start asking people to work with you, they have to be able to latch on to that dream too and see what it's in for them, what's in it for them. And then your employees are going to want to work with you and are going to have to hold on tight as well. So it's important that you can not only articulate your dream to other people, but that you can explain it in a way that gets them excited about your company as well. Why would somebody want to buy it? This is, again, just thinking about the end in mind. Why would somebody want to buy this business at the end of the day? And then, is this something that you can do? Then you must do it. If you can do it, if you can change lives, this new sales company I'm building, it can feed families, it can make millionaires, and it could give thousands and thousands and thousands of people good paying jobs. So if I can do that, I must do it. And I believe it's the same for you. How competitive is the market? You do want to find your own blue ocean, but in business, it's also good to let somebody else kind of do it first and prove the concept, and then just jump in and then try and outlast them or make your own pocket of it. So you want some competition, but you don't want it to be over competitive. Like right now, I feel like selling print-on-demand T-shirts, kind of over competitive unless you already have a different angle and your own blue market. Like there's lots of weird little businesses like that where it's just too competitive. Like I can't think of anything right now, but there's a lot of, certain businesses that you should probably just not go into because you're never going to get a fair share in the market. Another one. And then how is your business going to be unique? What's going to be your unique selling proposition? And then set an end date for when your business is going to sell. All right. When you're planning to build your business, it's really good to set a date. So February 2025, I am going to be selling that medical business for hopefully millions and millions of dollars. We'll see. I only own 25% of the company. So it's got to be, at least 5 million or more. And I'm going to be set though for a good time. So that's the goal though. We're going to sell in 3 years. That's my goal at least. Maybe we'll sell before then. Maybe we'll sell after. And then we'll either just do it again or we'll do something else. We'll see what happens. All right. This is what not to do. What not to do when you're going to build a business to sell. Don't go ask for a bunch of money. All right, unless you have a really good plan and you absolutely have to, I will never recommend you getting a ton of debt, unless you really, really need it, okay? I recommend finding a way to bootstrap, finding a way to be creative. Because if you can start from zero and start making a profit, then every time your business ever is having a problem or going back to issues, you can go back to whatever you did in the beginning and start all over again and build it up from there, all right? It's really important, okay? Some businesses, yes, you need a loan. Yes, you need money. But a lot of these fucking, college graduates or whatever, they go to business school and then they think they know how to fucking start a business and they've never sold weed. They've never hustled shoes or mowed lawns or sold lemonade. And they just think, oh, if I just do all this shit that I learned in business school when they've never built a business, it'll just magically work out. And they get these big ass fucking loans. And these loans have terrible, terrible interest because they didn't realize it. And then they basically ruin their finances. They probably borrow a bunch of money from their families and they just screw it all up. I know quite a few people in particular, or one guy, he was basically, he bought a bunch of land, or his family had a bunch of land, and he was going to build a bunch of cabins on it, and then he was going to put in Wi-Fi, right? So he's going to build this real big tower so that everybody can have internet and anybody can have power. He spent fucking like $60,000 on it, and then it didn't work. It would get blocked by the trees and blocked by the mountains. So then he put another $40,000 into it to fix it. Still never worked. Ended up fucking losing everything, losing the property, lost all of his parents' money on this whole thing, and is just starting over again from nothing. So don't go get a bunch of money unless the math makes sense, unless you absolutely can, and make sure that if you do sign any contracts, you know what you're getting into. All right, don't assume you understand your customer. All right, you got to go out and test. The absolute only way that I want you guys to ever build a business like this is I want you to basically go out there and build your business while talking to your customers. It's so important. You can't just assume people are going to like your product. You should literally be testing all the time, pitching your conversation with your customers and seeing if they're willing to do it. All right. And if you're scared to do that, that's what we're all about at the Tiger Sales Company. We will start talking to your customers for you, start those conversations, and really understanding the problems of your customers so that you can make your product better. Don't quit your 9-to-5 yet. You should really start your business as a side hustle. Never go in unless, like, I know there's all those metaphors about don't burn the ships, and there's tons of motivation, but you really should just find other things that you can sacrifice. Find ways to sleep less, ways to party less, and just put those hours into your business to build this thing. And then once your business is up and running and is profitable, then quit your 9-to-5 and go all in and build this thing up. Don't legally get into any fucked up commitments. Read all your contracts. Don't sign things you don't understand. Have a lawyer look over all the paperwork if you don't know what you're doing. Don't assume you know how everything is going to work. A lot of times you just got to throw spaghetti at the wall and you got to just make things happen. But don't assume things are going to work a certain way. All right. You might start a business and then everything will change one way and then everything will change another way the next day. Like it just is one of those things. So you got to be kind of fluid, especially in the beginning. You got to be creative. Don't assume other people are going to do anything for your business. One of the biggest things when you're an entrepreneur is, I'll just hire a bunch of people and they're all going to just magically do the work. No, the truth is when you hire somebody, you're going to have to do their fucking job for them and you're going to have to pay them to do the job for them. So let me say that again. You're going to have to pay them a salary or a commission or whatever, and you're going to have to still do their job in the beginning. They're not going to just know what to do right away. You're going to literally have to do their job, your job, but eventually they're going to be able to take over the reins and do it themselves. But in the beginning, you can't assume. And then getting people to like buy into your vision is really hard. Like you got to get good at communicating. You got to get good at building a business with people and finding people to run people. It's a whole thing. So don't assume people are just going to do things for your business. In the beginning, assume you're going to have to do everything and then start plugging people in, and you will find champions. And those are the ones you're going to keep. And the people that are not champions that are fucking it up, you're going to have to get rid of them and learn how to say no very fast. All right. Don't assume, don't build a business just because you love doing it. This one's hard for people to hear, but I've done this myself. If you build a business because you love doing it, it's a great cash flow opportunity, right? And it can be a passion project, but eventually you're going to be doing the work even though you don't want to do it, and it's going to turn what you love into work. Okay, it's gonna make it, let's say it's music. It's gonna mean you're gonna have to practice. 8 hours a day. You're gonna have to not just be able to make new music. You're gonna have to play the same things over and over and over at every single gig. You're gonna have to do all kinds of stuff like that, and it's gonna take what you truly love doing and it's gonna make it a job. And that's not what you want to do. If you're broke, do that because that's the best way to get started. But if you're building a business to sell, do something that you like. Make sure you like doing it. Don't do something you fucking hate because then you're not going to last long. But there's a good balance between building a business that you love doing is kind of too much because you'll be too attached and then it will turn into a job. But it does have to be something you like. It has to be something you can enjoy. There has to be parts of it that you enjoy. Otherwise, you're never going to see it to the end. You're just going to hate it every day and you're still just going to be suffering. So you don't want to do that. But a nice meeting in the middle. Or just if you do love doing it, just expect that there's going to be certain times where you have to take a fucking break. That's a big thing. You got to not burn out on the thing you love because otherwise you'll never want to do it again. And then you just lost something that you love doing. And there's a difference between making money and having fun and doing stuff that you really like to do. Obviously, if we build these businesses, we want them to be fun. Okay. Don't blast it all over social media if you haven't fucking done anything. There's something about goals where if we tell everybody our goal on social media, we feel good, we get that dopamine burst, and then we don't need to actually do any work. Okay, so don't go saying you're going to build this business, and then once you just blast it and tell everybody you're going to do it, you feel like you've done something, and then you don't do any work. So don't do that. It's just stupid. People do it all the time. Don't do that. You think you have to do it all alone. Okay. That's another big thing. I thought I had to build all these businesses by myself forever. Okay. The only thing you really have to do is have the idea. And then you just have to start reaching out to people and seeing if other people want to build a business with you. You don't have to do it alone. One of the biggest things is people, even when your business is in that awkward little baby stage, you still need people to talk to. You still need people that are going to pitch that it might do something. They don't have to do any of the work in the beginning, but you can also give people opportunities. And it's that momentum and that power of having other people's minds at work with you. Okay. Don't get your loser friends involved if they fucking suck. But if they're passionate and they're interested, like the biggest thing when you're building these businesses is everybody working there has to give a shit, right? They have to give a shit. They have to not half-ass it, and they have to actually give a shit. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere. So you have to find a reason for these people to give a shit. And then if you see it though, and they can latch on to it and be like, hey, look, I see that you give a shit. Why don't you come and work with me? Why don't we get together and let's do this, all right? And another way that you can do is find a mentor, okay? So if you want to learn a business, I will mentor you. I'll build it with you, and we can profit together and we can sell it together, all right? So there's all kinds of opportunities out there, but know that you don't have to do it alone. Being an entrepreneur is already lonely as fuck, but it's only as lonely as you make it. You can find other entrepreneurs that are just as crazy as you. I mean, there's 8 billion freaking people on the planet. I'm sure a couple of them would be down to work with you. You know what I mean? Even for free. I built a lot of businesses for free, basically doing it commission based, and it's just how you do it. It's just a way to do it. So you must take action every day if possible. All right. You have to constantly be thinking. People think like, oh, I'm going to build this tech company and I have to fucking do all this shit. No, just start coding. Just start writing your plans down. Okay, just take a pen out and write down, I am going to build a business to sell. This is the name of the business, and start writing all your ideas down. And that's still something you're doing every day. And the clearer you can crystallize it in your mind, the better. And the more action you can start taking every day, the sooner your business is going to be off the ground and it's going to be going somewhere. All right. And then that goes into the next thing is just don't overthink it. Take action. All right. Take any action. Just start taking action. All right. Do something that fucking scares you every single day for your business, and your business will grow way faster and be in a much better place. And the last and final and most important thing is don't give up. If you're going to start this business, if this business checks all the boxes and makes sense to you, you just have to not give up. You can do anything you want in life, and you can have anything you want as long as you just don't give up. How to start a business to sell. I've built a lot of businesses. Like I said, it's like embarrassing how many freaking businesses I have built. And this is how I start all of them now because I've done it so many times. This is my secret formula. Number one, you get an email. Doesn't have to be anything, just has to be a free Google email. This is mostly because you're going to sign up for all these accounts and you need to have one email in together. And it's another email that you can use to spy on your competition. You know, sign up for their newsletters, see what they're doing, sign up for their stuff, see what happens. Use this email. All right. Next, you're going to get a domain. I would prefer you to get a shorter domain and that is clear. Whenever you're naming a business, there's two things that I do now is number one, I have fun with it because, I mean, what's the point of having a real stick up your butt name for your business? But it also has to clearly tell your customers what you do. All right, there's just so much noise. There's so much bullshit. You really need to just say what it is that you do, almost even in your business name nowadays. So somewhere in between those is fun. You know, I've had tons of weird names. Right now, my businesses are, The Lion Show, Bears Real Estate, Tigers Sales, and then I'm also probably going to have an Oh My Ecom. So you see how I had a little fun there. Weirdest names for businesses I've had is I had Thor's Hammer Marketing. That was a fun one. And then Jedi Closers, just tons of stupid business names. But have fun with it. But clearly say what your business does in the name. Okay, so you get the domain. I would also rather you get like a 3-word domain and have it be a .com than get any of these other weird domains. I mean, .ios are pretty cool. And it's going to change, but if you have a .com, it has more authority. If you do like a XYZ or some other stuff, it just looks spammy. And you want to give your business as much authority as you can. Having a good domain is also going to be important when you sell your company. Okay, so another reason is I don't like to put businesses in my name anymore. My last name is Lion, so I could have a whole bunch of really cool lion businesses. But if I'm going to build it to sell, it's better to kind of keep it a little more generic so that anybody can become the owner. So these are just important things. Okay, so get an email, get a domain, write out your entire master plan. All right, I literally have a huge drawing sketch pad that I plan out all my businesses. And I basically, just start with the name and I brain dump. Okay. I just think, what's the goal for the business? What's the traffic going to be? What's the website going to be? What's the funnel going to be? How's the math going to look? How am I going to make money? What's going to be the fun part? What's the purpose of this business? Just write it all out there. And if you're, judging yourself, don't judge yourself. Just let it flow. Journal, type, write, whatever you got to do. Just get the whole master plan out so that you know what it's going to look like. And you might have to do this a couple times. All right. And then after that, you're really going to focus just on your customer. Okay. Your customer avatar. And even if you're like, oh, I don't need that, do it anyways. All right. Do it anyways. Who's going to be your customer? Why are they going to buy? What are their psychographics? Where do they live? What do they do on Saturday afternoons? What do they do as soon as they get paid? When do they have revenue coming in? And then are there going to be any other decision makers that are going to buy? Is it going to be a family buy? Is it going to be a one-time off? Are they millennials? Are they old people? Do they drive Subarus? Whatever it is, like really, really nail it down. In some of my old businesses, we would freaking make a customer avatar. We would print out a picture of them, and then I'd have a little picture frame of exactly who I'm going after and why they're going to buy from me. And it just helps clarify in your mind who your customer is going to be. All right. Next thing is copywriting, and I do copywriting here because copywriting takes all your big crazy ideas and it condenses them into a really simple words to basically sell to your customers. So not like words, but it just makes it simple. It clarifies what your business is, the pain point, why they need to buy from your business, and what your business has to offer. Okay, so it's just really important to do these things. Real quick, what is it? Copywriting tips basically is we're going to use the PASTOR method. Okay, so you're going to basically write down this copy. You're going to do person, problem, pain. Okay, that's what the P stands for. We're going to use artists. Okay, if you're an artist who wrestles with the battle between your art and your income, and you're almost ready to give up. All right, so those are the people, our customer, our artist. Their problem is that they're struggling between the battle between their art and their income. Their pain is so much that they're almost going to give up. The next thing is amplify. You want to amplify the pain. This is copywriting. This is a real quick copywriting tutorial. All right, and this is for artists. Ignoring this problem won't make it go away. It will only make it worse. Some will even give up their art and get a job. Next is S, which is Story Solution Systems. I struggled as a sketch artist for years, and I know how you feel, but I found a way out, and I can show you how you can do the same. Testimony. You need testimonials. Just look at these examples of others I have helped. They make their art, and they get paid to do it. Here's your offer. This is what I teach in the book, Starving Artists No More. This book is your blueprint to go from food stamps to six figures as an artist. And then the response. Click below, fill in your credit card information, and you'll be downloading your book in the next 2 minutes or less. Okay, and that's the PASTOR method. So just Google PASTOR on YouTube. You'll find the creator. I forget his name at the moment. I apologize to that guy, but he's a great copywriting coach. So PASTOR, though, person, problem, pain. P, A, amplification, aspiration. S, story, the struggle and the solution. Testimony, proof, basically. O is your offer. R is your request or response. So if you listen to that, you write down PASTOR and you write down what I just said, and then you write your copywriting, it's really going to help you clarify who your customer is, why they're going to buy, what kind of pain they're in, what kind of motivation they have. And just when you're building a business, it's just great to get your copy out of the way. Because you're going to need copywriting for your email, your social media accounts, your paid advertising, so on and so forth. So many things are going to need good copywriting. And you as the business owner, sitting down and writing these things out is going to clarify your business and your business's purpose more than anything else, okay? Now it's time to build your website. I build pretty much all my websites on WordPress with Thrive Themes. I just love that platform. There's tons of other ways you can do ClickFunnels, Webflow. Like there's just endless things you can do. Main thing is you want to make sure that it can rank, okay? So I don't recommend you using Wix. Wix is not a good website builder. I mean, it is drag and drop if you absolutely have to, but you're not going to be able to rank it. Also, Wix owns all your pictures and all your content, and there's other things that are negative about it. I'm sure things will change. I've built many websites with Wix. I just don't recommend them. I recommend WordPress and having a good theme because you'll be able to rank in Google. You'll be able to have full control of it. Another one, Shopify is all right. ClickFunnels is all right. They're just expensive. That's why I like WordPress. It's cheap and it gets the ball rolling. All right. Next is set up your social media accounts and other platforms. Okay. So I recommend you create an omnipresence for multiple reasons. Okay. We're going to build this business to sell. Okay. So this is where I've always struggled, and this is really important. I am a big advocate of building a personal brand, right? But we also want to build this business to sell. So on all these social media accounts, you're going to build all these social accounts for your business, okay? Not for yourself, but for your business. They're all going to have their own thing. And what's great about this is they're all going to start to relate to each other. Like for my sales company, I'm going to build my social media accounts for all of them. I'm going to have myself on all of them, and they're all going to interconnect to each other, and they're all going to be about sales. And when you do that, the algorithms are going to boost you whenever people are looking or trying to find things about sales, okay? So whatever your business is about, you want to create all these social media accounts and then have them all talking about the same thing. That way, when people search for you, you have this big old cluster of business. And this is just the basics of SEO and stuff like that. And then you're going to want to be on all these platforms. So you're going to want to be on Amazon. You're going to want to be on Etsy and eBay if you have a product to sell. So you might want to get a book out on Amazon, t-shirts on Etsy, whatever it is. And you're going to be able to build this business and you're going to want to be on all platforms. Okay. Next is you're going to want to set up a Google My Business. All right, this is a GMB. These are very important, or they were very important, and they're still going to be important out there because whenever somebody Googles your company, you're going to want to pop up on the map, especially if you're like a brick and mortar business. So Google My Business is incredibly important. Get it out there. You're going to need you're going to get a postcard basically with a number, and that's what's going to give you the power to be on Google and have a map. All right, next you're going to set up a syndication network. A syndication network is basically, you can go to ifttt.com, and it stands for if this, then that, okay? This is going to save you a lot of time. I build these out for businesses all the time. If you want me to build it out for you, we can even set you up with a payment structure where I will syndicate your content for you. This is very important. But that way you just can not spend your entire life making content for your business, okay? You're just going to be able to create content, put it into your syndication network, and it's going to send the content onto all platforms automatically for you. That way, again, you don't have to freaking think about it. I mean, eventually you probably are going to want to create or hire someone to create content because it's just good to take up space. It depends on the business as well. But this is what I do. And the reason we also build a syndication network is so that your website will rank. Okay, ranking in SEO is a big part of being able to sell your business, in my opinion. Next thing is going to be do your keyword research. Okay, keyword research is basically finding out what are the most searched questions that your customers have on the internet right now. What are they asking? What are they Googling? What are they trying to find out about your business? How can you offer them an answer? And then you can start creating content around the keywords so that whenever somebody is searching for something that your business offers, you'll pop up, okay? Create a content plan and an authority plan. An authority plan is basically building authority. So press releases, going on people's podcasts, creating content, public speaking, all these things that are going to take up space in your customer's mind. When they see you, when they hear you, when they think of your business, it's going to relate to that. And you need to have a plan to create content and to create authority because testimonials, reviews, all these sort of things are huge to your sellers. You have no idea how important they are because you're not going to be able to sell anything, especially high ticket offers, if they don't think that you're the real deal. All right. So you got to have authority. You got to make a plan. Next, you're going to set up your CRM. This stands for Customer Relationship Management, okay? And this is going to basically just be your email campaigns, basic drip emails, your plan for your emails, and things like that. And then usually, I'll tell you, I usually tell people, get your first sale, okay? Get your first legit sale. It depends on the business again, and then set up your LLCs and set up a bank account. But then it's time to basically get yourself legally set up and have a bank account for all that money to start pouring into. And this is the beginning of how to build a business to sell. Next, enter grind mode. Enter grind mode. It sounds kind of dirty now that I said that. But this is just where you get your grit. This is where you really get your traction, and this is where you just take massive action. No more thinking, no more planning, just massive, massive action, testing, test, and get sales, right? And then as soon as you do start getting sales, you really need to analyze what you did to get that sale in the first place, right? And I would expect like 20 hours is probably pretty short, but the first 20 hours you do in anything, don't do it for the idea to make profits. Just do it. Just run through it. Don't even think about money. Just try and connect with as many customers, pitch as much as you can, see what people are saying, see what the market talks to you back, and see how they respond. And it's time to talk to your target market, like a lot. Time to really reach out, test every platform, test every area of your business so you can really make things happen. The goal is tracking numbers and getting sales, right? So you got to track how many calls you made, how many texts you sent, how many cold emails, how many social media posts. And then when you finally do close, you got to ask them, why did you buy from me? Like what made you buy? And then like, obviously once you get their money, do that. Don't do it beforehand. And also it's time to build authority. By uniting your social media presence, by uniting your message and your content. And you really want to get it as clear as possible. So you really want to test everything and then kind of hone it back and just focus on what worked and what got the most responses and then just kind of push forward with that. Find a routine that generates sales for your business or find a sales cadence for each. And basically go from there. Sales cadence is like, cold email, cold social media, cold call, cold text, and then repeat. See what copy. You got to test the A and B different kinds of copywriting. You got to test the A and B different kinds of marketing, different kinds of reaching out, different styles of communicating until you really find what works. And then what works, you got to double down on it. Okay. But find your routine. Now's the time to really prove how bad you want it. You got to get that hunger. You got to get that fire. You got to find other people that can bring some fire if you get put out of fire. You got to just really, how bad do you want it? Because this is where you're going to build your business. Creativity is really important in the beginning phases because you got to be fluid, you got to be creative, you got to try new things. And in the beginning, it's best because eventually you're going to get into a rigid system and there's not going to be as much room or funds for creativity. All right. You got to do a ridiculous amount of work in this phase. And the goal is to first just go from 0 to 1, 1 to 10, 10 to 100, 100 to 1,000, and just keep building and keep growing and understand how you get these sales. That's really key. But grind mode is fun. Grind mode is like the exciting part. And then it just kind of becomes monotonous and you just get it into creating systems and processes, right? So you go from plan to grind, to just get on the grind, get things done. And then once things start to fall in place, now it's time to start building your systems and your processes. All right. So clearly create outlines for your systems. Clearly make them as easy as possible, as fluid as possible. And this is when you really want to start hiring people so that you can take a step out of the business and just start working on the business so that it can function more and become even more badass. Okay. Figure out your sales cadence, make it repeatable. Really, you're trying to get to having consistent sales and being able to do the same things within like a range and to get those sales. All right. Hiring and firing cadence, you want to hire a lot and then fire everybody that sucks and just keep building and keep growing. First, get happy customers, and then you're going to find something else that you can sell them. Okay. So the beginning, like the 0 to 1 million, the strategy is basically really find one product, one platform, and then just sell it over and over and over and over, and then repeat. Sell once and then repeat. So you just really focus one product, one customer, sell them over and over. If you want to create a $10 million business, you do the same thing, but then you find a way to upsell your already existing customers. And you want to maybe hit them with a subscription, hit them with some recurring revenue, something like that, but they're already in your ecosystem. They already enjoy your stuff. So start with that in mind. And then once you really want to scale, start figuring out a way to upsell, how to raise your prices, how to sell to your customers again. Okay. And that should be like a whole part of your business is figuring out what you can upsell, what you can sell, on the way up basically to your already existing customers or get a longer, lifetime value out of each customer. Hire project managers, and then just focus on the real big picture, which is building this thing as much as you can to getting that cash flow as serious as possible so that you can sell it. And then start to take your name off the door. This is where in the beginning, us as entrepreneurs, a lot of people we're real like loud and we're out there in front of everybody. And basically once you want to build a business to sell, you can't be the main focus of the business. You got to take your name off the door and you got to kind of plug in the brand. The brand has to be the main thing because that's what you want to do. All right. And then start handing as much of the operations off to your team as possible. And it's hard for a lot of entrepreneurs because this is like their baby and they feel like they have to do everything. And then you have to learn how to let go while keeping it flowing and keeping it growing. All right. It's kind of an art, but you can do it. I believe in you. So keys to success. All right. We talked about reoccurring revenue. Reoccurring revenue is just really important because you can sell the business without having to still be attached, without having, your name on it. And it's reoccurring, so it's consistent. It's going to help your business grow, but it's also going to help your sales, okay? Outbound sales, all right? I'm obsessed with outbound sales right now. We're building outbound sales teams for businesses everywhere, and it's hard. It's not easy, and it takes a long time to get set up, but once it's set up, it's indestructible. It's consistent. It's the mule that's going to pull your business to success, and it's because it's outbound, which means all the action comes from you going out as opposed to coming in. And obviously you want inbound sales, but that's the icing on the cake. The outbound sales is the cake. SEO is super important for you to really rank. Ranking, I don't know how to explain to people that don't know what ranking is. Look up SEO. But it just adds a lot of value to your business because whenever people search for your industry, you'll be the one that pops up first, meaning you will get the first sale, meaning you will make the most money. And it's going to be a reason that people would buy your business in the first place. Blue oceans. If you have some niche, if you have something special that you can bring to market where no one else is competing with you or is brand new, then you're going to be set. And that's going to be a real big key to your success. You're going to have a strategic market advantage. Try and find a way to be strategic. Find a way that you can basically crush your competition. And that's only yours and that nobody else is doing and that works, okay? The lifetime value of a customer, if you have customers that buy every single month, that means that they're going to be buying from you for a long time. That means you can spend a lot more to acquire customers, and the one who can spend the most to acquire a customer wins in the end a lot of times. Awareness in the marketplace. Build your brand as big and as loud and as amazing as possible so that it takes up space in people's awareness and you can dominate a sector. Build a business that solves a problem better than anyone else, okay? Think about problems. What do you struggle with? How can you solve that problem? And then how can you solve that problem better than anyone else? And then build it so you can step away for 30 days and it still works. You should be able to build this business to make money and profit without you ever even being in the business. And you'd be able to take a step back without it all falling apart. All right. So that's a real art and it takes a lot of skill, but that's what we're trying to get to. And then now it's time to start selling your business. Really, once you get all the systems and the people in place, it's time for you as the CEO to start to sell your business. When you're going to get ready to sell your business, you really want to ramp up the cash flow. You want your books to look as beautiful as possible. Like you want it to look like you've been making like crazy amounts of cash all for many years, over and over and over and over. And then right now you're at your all-time high and it's just going to keep growing. That's what you want, okay? You want to hire a team, a lot of cases, to start selling your business. These are going to be, outbound. If you want help selling your business, send me a message and I'll start getting it set up so you can sell it. But you're going to hire a team. They're going to basically do outbound and start reaching out to people that might buy your property. Like I said, these investment firms, independent people, lots of marketplaces are out there to sell your business. You just got to start marketing it like anything else. You're going to want to get a lawyer to get all the contracts set up. And you basically just want to make sure that when you sell it, you can step away without having a ton of responsibilities. A lot of people will sell their business and then they'll be stuck in a contract where they'll sell it for 60-40 and then they still have to run the business. And they might as well have just kept it at that point. So you got to be smart. And if you're going to sell your business, you really want to be able to have, like situations like obviously you're probably going to need to run it for another year. But then as soon as that year's up or whatever, the next 6 months is up, you need to be able to step away, get your check, and move on with your life. You don't want to be tied down because then you basically went from an entrepreneur who has a big business to an employee of these hedge funds because you're going to have to run the business for them. You don't want that. So get the contract to be in your favor as much as possible and protect yourself from any downside problems. Okay. Find other people in your niche who have sold businesses and connect. See what they've learned, see what they have done, and see if they can help you. I'm sure they'd be willing to talk because they did something similar. So try and find those people. Sell your business and then protect yourself from any downside that could happen. And then get paid and then start again and build another business to sell. All right. So I hope that was helpful. I like building businesses and I like building sales teams. So if you're an entrepreneur and you need a sales team, or if you're an entrepreneur and you're building a business and your biggest issue is you don't know how you're going to start getting sales, but you have a great idea, hit me up. If you want to build a business, that's what I do. I've been an entrepreneur coach for a long time. And I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to work with you. And let's make something happen. All right. Subscribe, leave a comment down below. If you want to see any content more where I go into greater depth on like SEO or building your business or anything like that, just let me know. All right. Thank you. Bye.